Hello! So somebody asked me how I animate on IbisPaint, and I thought I'd do a little mini tutorial, because I have no ideas for content. Well, actually, okay, never mind. But I thought it'd be fun to do anyways, and yeah. Now, I will admit, I am definitely not an expert on this. This is only how I animate on IbisPaint, and there are many other tutorials, but hopefully you enjoy and find this helpful. Basically, I start out, I use Apple products for all my animations. I use an iPad. Yes, I'm an iPad kid. We've talked about this, please. Not again, please. Okay, we've talked about this. But basically, all the products I use, or all the apps I use, they work well on an iPad or a tablet like that. So that's what I use to start out with. Now, the apps you need are IbisPaint and any editing app. Now, I use CapCut because it's easy and it's cheap, or it's actually just free. So you don't have to worry about that. It also offers loads of effects, and I think it works pretty well. Other apps that work well are iMovie and KineMaster. Those both work well as well, but I use CapCut, and I'm going to be showing you how to do it with CapCut on this tutorial, so yeah. Basically, step one for any animation is to get your idea and your plan all set down. Now, if you see a song you like and think it'll fit two characters from a movie you love, there you go, animation. Or if you see a clip from an old cartoon you used to watch as a kid, and then you realize it fit really well with the fandom you're in, there you go, animation. Ideas can come from anywhere, and anywhere. It can be weird sometimes. But storyboarding sometimes helps. I don't do a lot of storyboarding because I'm lazy, but it does help. Other animators use it, so you can use it, you don't have to use it, either way. Next step is to get your audio. Usually I take a clip from YouTube or wherever I'm getting the audio from, and I screen record it, and as long as you put in your description and credit it, it should be alright. Again, copyright can be whack, so I'd be careful with that, but just use your screen recording, and it works for most apps. It works for CapCut, so that's what I'm going off of. Next step is your drawing. Now, there are a couple questions you want to ask yourself before you start drawing. First of all is your style and your details. How many details do you want in your drawings of your animations? What do you want your colors to be? Do you want it to be a grayscale, have some color scheme, or fully colored? Do you want it to be sketchy or clean line art? Do you want your characters to be shaded or not? These are some questions that you should figure out before starting your animation so that you don't end up changing styles too many times unless that's your goal. Now, also you want to ask yourself, how smooth do you want your animation to be? Do you want lots of lip sync, or do you want it to just be more animatic style? Now, I tend to do a lot more animatic style animations, and I would recommend using Flip-a-Clip if you are trying to go for a smoother animation. It takes a while and it takes lots of practice, but it does work well with practice if you are looking for a smooth animation rather than an animatic. For example, in this one day animation I'm doing, I'm using a color scheme of different shades of maroon and some black and white, using a more sketchy line art style with a lighter shade in the background to highlight characters at times, and then I am using a more animatic style instead of a smooth animation. Now, whenever you do your drawing, you want to make sure you save it as a PDF, which means you go over to the side arrow, you press this bar right here that says Save as PDF, and it should be saved to your photo album. That is something you want to do after each frame so that you get all your frames. Yeah. Now, your best friend when you animate on IbisPaint is layers. Layers are incredible. I use lots of layers. Lots of layers. It's a lot. Well, the biggest thing you can do with layers is you can use the opacity feature on the side to be able to change the see-throughness of the drawing. I know there's a better word, but it is early in the morning, and no, brain doesn't work. That's okay though. Once you've made your drawing more see-through, then you can add a new layer and use the see-through drawing to use it either as a base or a reference point for your next drawing. As a base, you could use it if you're just changing your drawing slightly so that it could stay in a similar style and a similar place, helps the animation look a bit more smoother and put together. Or or you can use it as a reference point if you're changing scenes to at least know where your character was and help you figure out where they're going next. After you finish your second drawing, make your first drawing invisible by tapping this button, and then you save the second one, and then you continue to do that for as long as your animation goes. Another helpful tool is the lasso. Now the lasso can help you change parts of the animation that you only want to animate small parts of it. For instance, if you have a character's face, but you only want to change the eyes instead of redrawing the whole thing, the lasso can help you with that. Draw a circle around the parts you want to cut out, and then go to the cut feature up at the top. Tap that, it'll cut it out, and if you want to move it, you're able to move it after you paste it, and then it will automatically move it to the next layer. Using the layer technique above, you're able to change the opacity and then slightly alter your drawings instead of having to do a lot more work or just drawing over again. Now this lasso takes a bit of time and practice, but it does get easier after a while and you're able to go a lot faster. Other helpful tools in IbisPaint is the bucket. You are able to use the bucket to just fill in big slots of color instead of coloring it all in with your tiny brush. And you're able to use it to change the color of a background or a line art so that if you want to do a quick color change, it's a lot easier than doing a whole thing over again. Also look in your effects and filters. They're really cool and they add a little bit of touch to your animation or to your thumbnail if you would like. They're very fun to look through and I would highly recommend it. Another simple animation technique that you could practice is the blur. If you have two objects on a screen, you could blur the first one using the blur brush, save it first, save it before you undo it, and then undo it so that nothing is blurred anymore. Blur the other one, save that, and then take it over to your editing program, do a little bit of effects in between, and it'll add a really nice blur effect so that you can add perspective to your animatic. There are lots of other cool things on IbisPaint, but I want to stick with those for now. I would highly recommend just doing lots of exploring and practicing on your own. Look at other tutorials, look at other people's animatics, and just do a bit of learning for yourself. The next step, and kind of the last step, of actually doing the animation, is editing. Usually I tend to do my editing with drawings so that I can see my progress and also use that to see pacing, and if I need to change something or redo something because it doesn't work, it takes a lot less time than going back through the whole thing. Add your photos that you were able to save, add all your frames, and add it to your editing app, and then use the audio to be able to sync it up with your photos so that they match however you would like to match. This is where your style can come in with editing. You can add lots of effects, little effects, as much in whatever style you want. CapCut is really great because it has lots of effects that are easy to use, and the more you practice, the more advanced you'll get with using these effects, and the more used to it you'll get. Once you're done, you can export the video and then start doing your final touches for if you are posting this on YouTube or somewhere else. Make a thumbnail, and then write your description, start getting all of that technical YouTube stuff done, and then you are good to go. You have an animation. That's kind of the basic rundown of what I do for animating. Now there are a lot more things that you could do, a lot more specific techniques for different types of animation, or different things you can do in an animatic, but this is just the basic rundown. And feel free to change whatever works for you, edit however you like, make it work for you. I made it work for me. This is definitely not the traditional way of animating, or the best way, I'd say, or the most efficient or whatever, but it works for me, and I'm pretty proud of my work. So hopefully this helps you get started a little bit, find out what works for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Also enjoy this little Lovejoy animation I made while doing this. Why'd you have to kill my cat? Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Also, this might be the first time you've heard my voice. If you aren't on my streams, hi, I'm Kat. I do animation and art and stuff. If you're new to this channel, subscribe if you want. It's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know if you want. And Also check out my streams, because I stream a little bit if you want to. They're kind of poggers. Anyways, have a great rest of your day or night, and I will see you all later. Goodbye!